Hello, fellow YouTubers. I spend most of my time today trying to find out how to edit and join HD video files on Ubuntu or a Linux Ubuntu system. I finally succeeded in making some files that I didn't think was totally crap, and I thought I would share it with you guys. You'll need three things: a computer running Ubuntu or another Linux distro, and you'll need the program called kdenlive, and you'll need a codec for the encoding of the video. The codec is called libx264, and the latter two you can get from Ubuntu Software Center, and I'm gonna walk you through it. Let's fire up the Software Center. Just wait a little bit, and we can type in the codec name, libx264, and you'll see I have these two installed already because I needed them for I think my screencast software. This button over here says remove, translated into Danish, but if you don't have it, it will say install, and you just press install, and you do it with the other one as well. After that installation is finished, you can type in kdenlive, and now you should have the option to install, like I do here. And you'll need to type in your root password or your super user password. Unless you already did it with the other two installations. And now we have to wait for kdenlive to install. Once the installation finishes, you can just close the software center and you can go to the dashboard and you type in kdenlive. Now you can start the program. At first run, you'll be presented with this guide that explains a little bit about kdenlive and about some of the possibilities you have with it. I press next at this first screen. I press next again at the second screen. And now I have to choose a profile that fits the output files that my camera gives me. And I have an HD camera, and I usually pick this one at 25 frames per second. So if I don't choose anything else in the project, then my output will be in this format. I press next. I choose the standard folder for my project files and for my exported movies. I press next. And here you can set up a web camera from which you can record into kdenlive. But I don't have one. I'm on a laptop right now, and so I just press next. A final system check. Everything seems to be in order. I press finish, and now kdenlive is ready. Now I know that this version of kdenlive has Danish translation in it, but for this short guide it shouldn't be a problem. The button should be the same and in the same places. So anyway, I can now get to importing my video files into kdenlive. I'll just plug in my Samsung Galaxy S3 and hopefully something happens. Yes, it does. So now I can get into the memory card on my phone, into the camera folder, and I have these. I know because I just edited them that these are the two files that I want to keep, and I can get them into my video folder on the computer. And we just have to wait a little bit. You can see that the final size of these two video clips are 840 megabytes, more or less. It shouldn't take too long. Once the video files have been transferred from your phone or your camera, you can just disconnect the phone and go to the folder where you stored the clips. And you take the video files and you just drag them into the kdenlive project, like so. These videos are of my boys playing soccer this afternoon, and my real purpose was just to combine these two small clips into one, so that there would only be one file for the network storage. To do so, you just take one clip, drag it onto the timeline, and then just append the other at the end. And that was it. You'd press render, and you choose the option that you already chose when you installed kdenlive to export to HD at 25 frames per second. But that's why I had so much trouble with it, because I found out after a lot of trial and error that if I took the properties of the clips, the frame rate was at 30 frames per second. I messed around with a lot of different profiles and settings. I even tried the lossless ones, but they just gave me a very big file that was still very choppy and unusable, and nowhere near the quality of the source files. In the end, what solved this for me, and I think it would solve a lot of problems like this, no matter what kind of video files you have, is that you just click on one of the clips and you go to the toolbar and you choose project, and then you choose adjust profile for the actual clip. If you do that, you'll be given some options that match the clip properties and disregards what you chose when you installed kdenlive. And you just say update profile, and now you'll see it has the changed profile to 30 frames per second. After I changed the project settings to match the clip, I had a very, very good result by choosing file rendering and the H.264 codec, which came with the libx264 codec. I had to say force progressive here. It was auto by default, but for the video files created by the Samsung Galaxy S3, it's a progressive. Video file. So I know that the bitrate of my video files, there are 17,000 bits per second. You can check that in Nautilus by choosing properties on your video clip and sound video. You see bitrate here, 17,000. So in order to match the quality of the source clips, you'll have to choose something that is close to 17,000. We have 18,000 here, it's very good. Export sound, you choose. And because I know the sound is also from my Samsung Galaxy S3 and it has a very poor microphone, you can adjust this down to 192, that'll be just fine. In order to get the best quality in your end result, you can take this 2-pass option. It will take more time to render, but the video file will look better afterwards. Here you can set, if you have a very powerful PC, you can set it to the number of threads it will use in rendering your project and creating your final movie. This is my laptop. I wouldn't adjust it anywhere, but on my main computer, it's a Core i7. I did these files, and I used 5 threads for it, and it was no problem. So depending on the power of your PC, somewhere between 1 and 7, and afterwards you just press generate to file, and for these kind of files it gave me a very good result, and the final file size was about 10% bigger than the combined file size of the 2 clips, and to me that's acceptable. So there you have it. That's the solution for at least these kinds of files on Ubuntu Linux. So there you have it. This was my first attempt at a public guide on YouTube. As you may have guessed, English is not my first language, so my voice work could probably do with a little bit of training. So if you have any comments other than that, please leave them down below, and otherwise just take care.